Sexual harassment case studies. Let's take a look at a few scenarios that help explain the kind of behaviors that can constitute sexual harassment. These examples describe inappropriate behavior in the workplace that will be dealt with by corrective action, including disciplinary action. Remember, it is up to all employees to report inappropriate behavior in the workplace. Example 1. Not taking no for an answer. Li Yan's co-worker Ralph has just been through a divorce. He drops comments on a few occasions that he's lonely and needs to find a new girlfriend. Li Yan and Ralph have been friendly in the past and have had lunch together in local restaurants on many occasions. Ralph asks Li Yan to go on a date with him, dinner and a movie. Li Yan likes Ralph and agrees to go out with him. She enjoys her date with Ralph, but decides that a relationship is not a good idea. She thanks Ralph for a nice time, but explains that she does not want to have a relationship with him. Ralph waits 2 weeks and then starts pressuring Li Yan for more dates. She refuses, but Ralph does not stop. He keeps asking her to go out with him. Question 1. When Ralph first asked Li Yan for a date, this was sexual harassment. True or false? False. Ralph's initial comments about looking for a girlfriend and asking Li Yan, a co-worker, for a date are not sexual harassment. Even if Li Yan had turned Ralph down for the first date, Ralph had done nothing wrong by asking for a date and by making occasional comments that are not sexually explicit about his personal life. Question 2. Li Yan cannot complain of sexual harassment because she went on a date with Ralph. True or false? False. Being friendly, going on a date, or even having a prior relationship with a coworker does not mean that a coworker has a right to behave as Ralph did toward Li Yan. She has to continue working with Ralph, and he must respect her wishes and not engage in behavior that has now become inappropriate for the workplace. Li Yan complains to her supervisor, and the supervisor, as required, reports her complaint to the person designated by her employer to receive complaints. Ralph is questioned about his behavior, and he apologizes. He is instructed by the designated person to stop. Ralph stops for a while, but then starts leaving little gifts for Li Yan on her desk with accompanying love notes. The love notes are not overtly offensive, but Ralph's behavior is starting to make Li Yan nervous, as she is afraid he may start stalking her. Question 3. Ralph's subsequent behavior with gifts and love notes is not sexual harassment, because he's stopped asking Li Yan for dates as instructed. He's just being nice to Li Yan because he likes her. True or false? False. Li Yan should report Ralph's behavior. She was entitled to have effective assistance in getting Ralph to stop his inappropriate workplace behavior. Because Ralph has returned to pestering Li Yan after being told to stop, he could be subject to serious disciplinary action for his behavior. Too close for comfort. Keisha has noticed that her new boss, Sarah, leans extremely close to her when they are going over the reports that she prepares. She touches her hand or shoulder frequently as they discuss work. Keisha tries to move away from her in these situations, but she doesn't seem to get the message. Question 1. Keisha should just ignore Sarah's behavior. True or false? False. If Keisha is uncomfortable with Sarah's behavior, she has options. If she feels comfortable doing so, she should tell Sarah to please back off, because her closeness and touching make her uncomfortable. Another option is to complain directly to a person designated by her employer to receive complaints, who will speak with Sarah. Although this may not be sufficiently severe or pervasive to create an unlawful harassment situation, unless it was repeated by Sarah after she's been told to stop, there is no reason for Keisha to be uncomfortable in the workplace. There is no valid reason for Sarah to engage in this behavior. Before Keisha gets around to complaining, Sarah brushes up against her back in the conference room before a meeting. She is now getting really annoyed, but still puts off doing anything about it. Later, Sarah traps Keisha in her office after they finish discussing work by standing between her and the door of the small office. Keisha doesn't know what to do, so she moves past her to get out. As she does so, Sarah runs her hand over Keisha's breast. Question 2. Sarah's brushing up against Keisha in the conference room could just be inadvertent and does not give Keisha any additional grounds to complain about Sarah. True or false? False. Sarah is now engaging in a pattern of escalating behavior. Given the pattern of her too close and touching behavior, it is unlikely that this was inadvertent. Even before being trapped in Sarah's office, Keisha should have reported all of the behaviors she had experienced that had made her uncomfortable. Question 3. Sarah touching Keisha's breast is inappropriate, but is probably not unlawful harassment because it only happened once. True or false? False. Any type of sexual touching is very serious and does not need to be repeated to constitute sexual harassment. Keisha should immediately report it without waiting for it to be repeated. Sarah can expect to receive formal discipline, including possible firing.